Alrighty, and keep clapping because here comes Julie-Anne from Call Design. Welcome, Julie-Anne. We're looking at workforce planning, which we added to the survey for the first time last year. And we added it out of necessity, really, because, I mean, particularly from a recruitment point of view, we've had so much increased, I guess, demand for those with any skills in workforce planning and management. How have you seen things change over the last 12 months, more generally?
I think the role of workforce planning has, over the last few years, become increasingly important. Are there any workforce planners in the room? I know there are a few because I've seen a few of you. Yeah, so it's an exceptionally important role, and I think the recognition for that role is increasing, and people are understanding the importance. When I started 25 years ago as a workforce planner, it was somebody kind of sitting in the back who maybe looked at a few numbers, put out a few schedules, but it wasn't really thought of as a skill as such, and that has definitely changed over the years.
So what we've got on the screen now, and a question to it, is how has the role of workforce planning changed over the last 12 months as we've got these different groups of workers? We've got work from home, we've got hybrid, we've got in contact centre. How does that change things for the workforce planning team?
So hybrid is very, very popular. Can I ask the room, who here works 2, 3 or more days from home? Stand up, go on, stand up just so we can see how many it is. It's really easy to see.
So if you work 2, 3, 4 or 5 days a week from home.
Fantastic, yeah. So you can see, looking around the room, that's the most popular. So the majority of people are working at least in a hybrid model, if not completely from home. And that isn't just since COVID. I think prior to COVID, we were already moving in that direction, and COVID accelerated it. So a number of our customers were already 100% contact center agents working from home.
Yep. It seems like workforce planning is a good place to be in 2023. Why has it, I guess, increased in its relevance and importance to contact centres?
Workforce planning is the best role in a contact centre. So it is, salary has gone up, recognition has gone up. You get to talk to every role because you need to understand what's going to impact the contacts that are coming in. It's become increasingly complex, but it's a career path for anyone, regardless of what area you're in. And it's being recognised by the fact that salaries are increasing and increasing rapidly.
Yep. You said it's becoming more complex, though. Why do you say that?
There's a lot to do as a workforce planner. Your day's never done. So you've got short-term, mid-term, long-term forecasts. You've got budgeting. You've got to talk to different departments like marketing to understand what's happening. You need to understand call routing. You need to understand what agents want. Look at different options for flexibility. Talk to HR about the types of roles you need to recruit. It's a pretty broad role.
We've just heard from Will around the importance and perhaps lack of training for team leaders. What's training like for workforce planners?
It's no better, unfortunately, maybe marginally. But workforce planning, as I've just said over and over again, it's a highly skilled role, and you need training for that. It's not something that you can just move from being an agent into, I'm going to create some forecasts for you and work out what schedules people want to work. It is really complex, and I think there needs to be a lot more investment in the people to ensure they have the skills and teach them what it is that they need to be doing. And you can see from the numbers here, it might be hard if you're back down the back to read the numbers, but there's a lot of internal training still happening, and I think you need to look externally for workforce planning. So talk to your vendors, understand whatever systems it is that you're using. You need to get the training from your vendor in how to use that and use it properly.
So workforce planning is naturally supported by a tool, which Call Design provide. How regularly do you need to be trained? How often are you providing tool updates?
There's usually, if you have a tool, then normally an update will come out every year. Not everybody, it depends on whether you're in the cloud or on-premise. Those who are in the cloud are very lucky because they all get upgraded automatically and pretty quickly, so they're always on the latest and greatest. But if you're on-premise, you probably don't get upgraded quite so often. But if you think about any training that you do, and like I said, workforce planning is complex, If you have training, how much of that do you remember immediately? And if you're being trained internally, it's a percentage of the training that that person got that they're going to remember. And likewise, it's really useful in a skilled role to get consistent and regular training to keep your skills up.
Yep. Has the type of work we forecast and plan for changed a lot?
Very much so. Yeah, and it's changing rapidly. So voice, back again 25 years ago, it was really only voice and it was single skilled. Then we went multi-skilled. Then now we've got multi-channel, omni-channel. You've got every channel that you want, and who knows what other channel's coming. So there's channels galore, and they all use different maths in the background in order to work out how many staff you need. So some, we've gone already from chat, that's kind of disappearing, into async messaging. Everything's changing, and it's changing really, really, really quickly.
Okay. And are people generally happy with their workforce planning tool?
As a whole, they're okay with it, and I think a lot of that comes down to, again, training, understanding the role that you're doing, understanding whatever tool it is that you have, and how to get the most from it. And I think the more training you have, the more contact you have with your vendor, the better it is for you.
A question that's just caught my eye as you're chatting there, is there a recommendation for the number of workforce planning staff per agent FTE?
It really depends on the complexity of your contact centre, but it is, you need at least one dedicated person. So having a team leader doing workforce planning on the side of everything else that they're meant to be doing, unless you've got 3 agents, is really hard.
Yeah. So what are the biggest challenges facing workforce planners at the moment?
Attrition and recruitment, as you can imagine, are key, and that's actually moved from adherence. So for years and years, adherence was one of the top challenges. It's now the inability to recruit, attrition, and as you've heard from everybody else speaking today, flexibility. Everybody wants flexibility, and they want more and more of it. And like Nadine said, flexibility is not just work from home. It's actually giving people the option to move their schedules, move their breaks, apply for coaching or training or whatever it is, and giving them more flexibility around what they do.
Yeah. All right, Julie-Anne, take us through your key findings from our research.
Attrition and the inability to recruit are the 2 biggest challenges, and that has overtaken adherence. And I think that's really interesting. Attrition's always been a problem in the contact centre, but offering flexibility is key, and people really want that. So again, working from home, if you're not offering it, James has said before, it's one of the key things that people are looking for. And as you saw when you looked around the room, it's at least 2 to 3 days working from home at the moment. That's still the most popular. Schedule flexibility is absolutely essential. So if you are just rotating schedules, that is not flexibility. You need to be looking at ways to offer more flexibility to your staff. They should be using mobile apps to see their schedules. They should be able to apply for leave. They should be able to move their breaks, move schedules forward or backwards. That's kind of where we're going. What is the lifestyle that people want to work? It's blending the 2 things. You want a lifestyle, and you also need to earn money, and you also need to be more productive. So contact centres are very highly measured, and that, we can still see all the stats. Offering flexibility only improves that. And we need more investment. With people working from home, you need the technology in order to engage staff, see what people are doing, motivate staff. Gamification, as Nadine said earlier on, is key with that. But then other technologies to allow staff to see their schedules and offer that flexibility as well.
Karishma asks, do you think real-time management is a team leader task?
No. I think real-time management is changing. And again, it's a really difficult question because it depends on the size of your team and how many other roles that you're doing. But I think it's important for team leaders to be across it. But is that their only role? Probably not. You've got so many other things that you need to be doing as team leaders. Real-time isn't really something that most people have time for. But on that, real-time is changing, and adherence is changing, and the technology is changing. So with AI, there are tools that can update schedules. If I'm late to work, It can see that I haven't logged in and update my schedule automatically. If I'm stuck in a call, it can move my break to be a little bit later, without someone having to actually do that. So there's a lot of tools out there that automate some of this. And as we progress with technology, it's important to look at those.
Well, a good follow-up question to what you've just said then, which has come through, is how can you plan for shift flexibility when you are carrying vacancies?
Everybody's got vacancies. I don't know very many contact centres that are overstaffed. If you are, brilliant. But there's not many. But I think if you think about when the forecast was done and when your plan was created, so your schedules were maybe created a month in advance, some even further in advance, to a forecast that was created quite far out. How do you know that is, it's a volatile world. How do you know that what you created a month ago is what is right for today? So why can't you offer some flexibility to move things? Things change. The volumes change from whatever contact it is, and that's key. And so being able to move things around is absolutely essential, because I don't really know that what I forecast 3 months ago is spot on. And I wish I was a psychic, but I'm not.
How do you keep workforce planning staff engaged with repetitive day-to-day tasks?
Workforce planning? How could anybody be bored with workforce planning? There's so much to do.
That's the type of passion you need, don't you?
Yeah.
How do you balance flexibility while still meeting customer experience levels?
Well, I think the customer experience, so if your agents are happy, then, as everyone has said as well, happy agents, happy customers. And so at the end of the day, balancing it is about trying to offer something that is more flexible for them. So, and like we said previously, I don't know that the schedule I created a month ago is perfect. So today things are changing. I know what's happening now. Why can't I change? I can see there's a lull. Why can't I go off and have some coaching for 20 minutes on a topic that I'm struggling with? There's no reason why not, because we've got the insights to know what's actually happening. You're not going to take people away when you're getting slammed. The flexibility is only going to be offered at times where it still works for you.
So a couple of people have just asked, how do you offer flexibility when you're bound by a 9 to 5 open time?
Well, there's other things that you can be doing. So is it only taking contacts of whatever type? Is there admin? Is there tasks of other sorts that you could be doing? Can you take off phone? Can you be coaching? Can you be doing some training? Look at all of the things that your staff do throughout the day, and flexibility can be mixing things up as well. And so if they're only working 9 to 5 and everybody's full-time and that's the shift that they work, there's still the ability to move your breaks, move lunches, give you the ability to go with your mates to go for lunch. Quite often in contact centres we say, nah, you got to go at this time. And historically schedules were created, set there, and it was set and forget, and you've got to do this. We can't work like that anymore. No one's going to stick around for too long if we do.
And final question, is AI being used in the workforce planning space, and do you see this reducing the need for workforce managers in the future?
AI is absolutely being used in this space, and I think it's going to be used more and more. I think there's so much opportunity to make life easier for everybody by doing that. If you think about the role again of a workforce planner and all the checks that they have to do, why can't AI do some of that and come back with an answer for me? I think it can. So where I was talking about the real-time optimization, that's key. That's one of the things that AI is being used for. And what was the part of what was the second part of the question?
And do you feel it will reduce the need for workforce managers in the future?
No. It's such an important role. And workforce planners are everywhere now, so it's not just contact centre, it's back office, it's retail, it's everywhere. There's so many opportunities, and people are looking for good workforce planners everywhere. So if you're not happy where you are, look around. There are jobs absolutely everywhere. I'm constantly getting a tap on the shoulder to say, do you know anybody who could help us out here? There are so many roles available, and it's, like I said, the pay is going up, you are in demand. If you're an agent, if you're a team leader and you want a really good career, go for workforce planning.
On that note, ladies and gentlemen, please thank Julie-Anne from Call Design. Thank you.